If you know anything about me, I hate getting put in boxes. You know what I'm talking about? I'll share a little funny story with you. When I was dating my now wife, we would go to her friend groups and her little parties, and we'd sit there and they'd be going around, "Oh my gosh, what color are you? Oh, I'm blue, I'm green, I'm pink, I'm orange." Like, what the heck are you guys talking about? I remember this one time we sat there and like, "Oh yeah, what number are you?" I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, "Yeah, what number are you?" It's like, "I'm all the numbers, baby." And they're like, "A 3 would totally say that." And they all start like, what are you guys talking about? If you know what I'm talking about with these number codes and color codes, it's crazy. They put everybody in these little boxes of, this is who you are and you can't change. This is how you were born. I make my own destiny, baby. That's why when I started the 5 love languages, I was very, very hesitant of, hey, I don't want to be put in any boxes here because that is not about me. And I was very pleasantly surprised. We're going to be going over this book review of the 5 love languages today. We're going to be hitting 3 points. Point number 1 is preferences. Rather than saying, this is who you are and this is how you were born and you cannot change no matter what. The 5 love languages, the way that Gary Chapman, I believe his name is, Gary Chapman, yes. He says it's like preferences. So imagine this. I go out to eat at I love eating Mexican food, right? And I don't really like Indian food, okay? It's not that I can't eat Indian food, I just don't like it. So if you're gonna take me out to dinner for my birthday, then don't take me out to Indian food because I don't really prefer it, okay? You're thinking about me and you're gonna take me out to Mexican food. The same idea with these love languages of you're focused on what is it that I really want? What are my preferences? Rather than this is who you are, okay? Number 2, what are the 5 love languages? There's obviously 5 of them. There's 6. I'm just kidding. There's 5 of them. Words of affirmation. 1. 2 is physical touch. 3, receiving gifts. 4, quality time. And 5, acts of service. Okay? Words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, acts of service. I have the list below. Now, looking at these, you might be like, "Oh man, I love all of those things," or I love 1 or 2 of those things. That's the thing, is that they're preferences. Looking at these things, then you can see, okay, where am I at with this list? And that's the first thing that I would recommend, is look at yourself and say, what are my love languages? What do I prefer more than something else? Maybe I prefer physical touch, or maybe I prefer quality time, and I don't really care about those other things. Well, that gets into a little story I have when I sat down with my team, because this can work in your personal, obviously it's for your personal relationship, but the author also says it's for your business, it's for your teams, it's for your organizations that you're in as well, okay? I sat down with my team and I said, "Hey, guys," we started talking about 5 love languages, and I was like, "What love language would you say is my love language?" And unanimously, they all said physical touch. And I was like, "What? No, you guys are just joking with me. That's not..." They're like, "No, we're being serious with you. It's totally physical touch." I'm like, is that supposed to be like a negative thing? Or like, how would you know physical touch when we're just employees, right? And I'm the boss and you're the employees. Like, isn't that supposed to just work with romantic relationships, like kissing and stuff? And they're like, no, you're always like shaking our hands and you're always patting our back and you're always like, "Oh, good job." And you're just very affectionate. You're giving us hugs. Like, you're just physical touch is one of those things. And I'm like, now that I think about it, like, yeah, I am always like just very physical with people, handshakes and touching people on the elbow, like, "Hey, thank you so much for what you just said." And I had no idea. And that goes into point number 3 is asking your team. Going to your team, asking them what each other's love languages are, and then also asking them, what do you think this person's love language is? And then you can help each other out, figure out, because my wife, for example, is words of affirmation. Now, for me, let's say I'm really big into physical touch, and I'm like, oh, I need to help. I want to show my love to my wife through physical touch, but that isn't her main love language. And so rather than just like the Indian food versus Mexican food, it's not that she can't feel love through physical touch, it's that she might prefer it through words of affirmation. And some of these, it's not like 100 to 0. It's more like this one's like a 90, and this one's like a 40, and this one's like a 60. So you're going to have different levels of these love languages, and that's why you need to have these open conversations with your own team. And then that way you can find out as a boss how to, and as a leader, more like as a leader, not as a boss. But you're going to find out how to lead your team even better when you know how they feel loved most. Because I'll share another little funny story. When I started in business and started hiring people, I thought that it was just all about the money, because I mean, that's why I went to business, right? I just wanted to make some money. And turns out that they weren't just there for money. They were there for like affection and feeling and meaning and that kind of stuff. And I didn't really relate to that at all. And I was like, oh, and I didn't pick up on it, and people just started leaving because I was like, yeah, here's your money, here's your money, here's your money. And then they were like, man, I don't feel like I have enough purpose in this. I don't feel like I have enough joy. And I thought that it was just total bogus. I was like, whatever, you guys are just a bunch of whiners about it. But then looking back on it, I'm like, wait a second. No, this is something that is a part of leadership. I need to know how to care about my people. When people feel cared about, they're going to go over, they're going to say, hey, I don't care about the money. Let me go hike to the top of the mountain. I want to go do this for free. I want to go do this. Obviously, the money always helps, but they're going to want to do things because they're motivated by their love, and they know that you care about them, right? There's an old saying that's, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And this is how you show your caring to them, right? I was at a conference listening to Tom Brady, and he said that leadership is caring. That's what he said. Leadership is caring. And that if you want to lead your team, you have to care about them and actually care, not of pretend care of like, oh yeah, I want the best for you guys. No, you legitimately want the best for them. And then second, so that's number 1, is that you need to care. And then 2, it's finding out how they feel love, how they feel care, okay? Because just like we talked about, let's say that you really love acts of service, but I'm spending quality time with you, and you're like, I don't really feel your love because you're not serving me. I don't feel that love. And so I need to act in how you feel loved. Does that make sense? Hope we're making sense on this video. So all in all, it's finding out the love languages of yourself, and then finding out the love languages of your team so that you can lead them even better, and they'll want to stay on your team longer and longer. Now, my challenge to you is go ahead, read this book, and implement the 5 love languages in your life. And then second is read one educational book every single week. I have my book list below. I have a list of a couple hundred books on there. My top ranking books. You can go ahead, download the book list right now and start following along. But I promise you, as you start reading one educational book a week, I'm not talking about fantasy novels, I'm talking about educational books, then you will start to grow your business at a rate that you have never before seen. Okay? With that said, I will see you guys next time.